Hello and welcome to TreeWalker Talks, episode 27, Downsize Me. All right, so this is another one of those nights where it's 11 p.m. It is April 5th, was that Wednesday night, and we're recording it because this is when we have time. So taking a little bit of beating at work, a little bit tired, but we still got this. That's why I take notes, except for some of them are a little lacking today. But okay, homestead update. The rabbit. Some of you may find this atrocious, and it is, but it happens sometimes. This is the first time I've ever had it happen. The second one didn't have any, so she must not have took. I might have bred them too close together. But the one that did have babies ate them. Yes, you did hear me right. Sometimes when they are stressed out, when they're territorial or something happens, they will eat their babies. And this one was eating her babies. She will get one more chance. We will breed her. And if she does something the same or that, then she goes in the freezer and we get a new one to take her place. So now we've got two of our three that are on thin ice. And the third one, it didn't breed. So we'll give it at least two more tries. The chicks. We did have all of the silkies hatch that are going to hatch currently. And we ended up with four. Two black and two probably gray, but they have like a brown stripe on them and stuff. So we'll see once they feather out. Creaky chair. We're kind of back and forth between hot and cold here. I've actually got the front door and the screen open because it is 61 degrees outside tonight. We are going to eventually get down to 42. Don't know when. Didn't really look at it. But it was a very, very windy day today, and we had some storms go through, but everything I think's okay. I did not go in the backyard much to look. Could have some sticks down and stuff. We'll see maybe tomorrow when it's light out. Because as I said, it's 11 p.m. and it's dark out. Anything else around here, really? I didn't get to make any more. I think I already said this in the last one. I didn't make any more maple syrup because it clouded up. Even the stuff outside clouded up because we got too much heat, which is cool. You know, I made some, and now I know what I need to do for next year. I did go over that because I was discussing about the barrels, I do believe, about buying them. Projects. Nothing got done. I can't even tell you what it was I did Saturday. If it was stormy. My sinuses were horrible. So I didn't do a whole lot of anything. Then Sunday we had the ice skating show. So that kind of was like slap in the middle of the day. So, hey, and this one's going to come out on Good Friday. Except for I think all Fridays are Good Fridays, right? Unless you have to work Saturday. But so we didn't get anything else done on projects. So we still have everything to do. But isn't that the way it always is? Projects, I found some land I really like. I'm going to try to, find the $375,000 it would cost. If you're in my Discord, I shared it on there. You can see it. I would have all sorts of plans for that land. So there'd be all sorts of projects. Some Airbnbs I would put on the land, that sort of stuff. But, we're allowed to dream, right? What's growing on? Well, everything that was planted before is still planted and is doing good. We have, I do believe it was cabbage. Might have been broccoli. I don't know. Maybe it was broccoli. I think it was broccoli I planted. They are about 1.5 inches tall. The tomatoes are about 1 inch, 1.5 inches tall. Forget what else it was I put in that. Peppers. We've got some peppers that are about the same too. Maybe a little bit shorter. Not all the peppers, just some of them. That's pretty much it there. I told you I planted some stuff outside. Only a couple are coming up in the greenhouse. It's warm out there, but still gets cold at night, so that's fine. I don't think we really had any of the kale coming up out in the bed. Yawn. Need a drink. Let's see. The other bed, the one that had turnips in it that I didn't harvest, the turnips are getting greens on them again. So I don't know if that's a thing, if they'll grow and produce more turnips, or how that works. Never done them. This was turnips, beets. These were sugar beets. And I tried to open in one because they weren't that soft, but they're pretty brown and yucky looking. Surprise lilies are really good. They're tall. Haven't seen much else growing out there. I haven't seen the comfrey start sprouting out yet. See, that'd be another thing. If I could get acreage somewhere, I would start a comfrey business where I would sell leaves and powder and that sort of stuff to help supplement. If I had a bunch of acreage Like the one I'm talking about in Michigan is 243 acres. There's a lot of things I could do to earn money. Some of them I can do here, and some of them I'm going to do here, just not to the scale that I could up somewhere like that. Okay, so I guess I might be a rambling man, rambling on. Trying to think if there's anything else on the homestead, project-wise, growing or any of that. I haven't seen really. The trees are starting to bud out. The weather's got that. No leaves on the Rose of Sharon yet, which is good because hopefully we get a good day Saturday because Sunday's Easter, so I got to go do stuff with the family, meals. I want to, by the back fence, there's a bunch of small, I don't know, foot tall Rose of Sharons, and I've done this before. This is how I got them over here. Dig them up and then replant them out along the fence line back there because then as they bush out and get bigger, even if the fence isn't all that good, it's metal chain link fence, then we actually have a natural fence. Plus, if we've got the neighbor's yard behind us, but then there's a field, if that becomes subdivision, which it probably will be here soon, it'll block us from that, so we won't have to look at there. I'd rather just move, but do what you can with what you got, right? Okay, now to the main topic. Downsize me. Okay, we might get into another topic. I don't know. There's something else that hit me as kind of I had passionate feelings about. So we might talk about that, or I might save that for next week. We'll see. Okay, what do I mean by downsize me? I used to move quite often. In my late teenage, early 20 years, I would move probably 5-6 times a year for a couple of years there. One thing that's great about that, you don't gather junk. You don't get a lot of stuff. You're kind of not a minimalist, but pretty close because it's easier to pack it up and move. I think I could move all my stuff in like 2 truckloads back then. And now it'd take a couple semi-loads. So as I've looked around at some of the stuff I have that's sitting in totes and that, and this is in the house too, because I did have my own house, and then we kind of consolidated. There really wasn't much room here for my stuff, so a lot of it had stayed packaged up in that. I do have some of my books out, most of my books, but they're taking up space, and I don't really use them, so I'm going to keep those. I'd never get rid of my books. But there's a lot of stuff that I don't want to say hoard, but I've got stockpiled, old computer parts. I don't really work on computers anymore. I've got probably 20 keyboards. The old plug ones and stuff. Nothing fancy. Do I need those? I might as well get rid of them. So I'm kind of starting to go through this stuff and just go, all right, it's time to just get rid of it. Not that I'm saying I'm going to move a bunch, but it's nice to know that if you had to move, you wouldn't have to go through 2,400 square foot of stuff. That you just didn't have all that junk. Because that's what it comes down to is junk. You get a lot of stuff. That's one of my big things I always said is we have too much stuff. And people just want to buy more stuff. And you just need stuff. Well, I'm getting rid of stuff. And one of the things was my sister told me, she says some of the stuff we keep and we hold on to, it's because it's sentimental. I look at it and I get the feeling from that. I'm like, oh, I remember when my mom gave that to me. I remembered, for those of you who don't know, my mom passed away. Oh, my mom bought me that. Well, you know what? She probably got it at a garage sale. My mom, while she was still alive, I had a 2-car garage full of stuff. And she's like, just get rid of it. As I said, when I said I might move over here, I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do with my stuff. And she's like, just get rid of it. And I said, well, you bought that. Yeah, I bought it from other people. She said, sell it. Just get rid of it. But my sister said a good hint would be to take a picture of it, with your phone or put it on your computer or that, and then get rid of the thing. That way you can look at that thing and go, oh, I remember that. My mom gave me that. And you don't have to have the physical thing there because is it the actual thing that you're keeping or the memory? And most of the time it's the memory. I mean, I've got a couple books that I will try to keep as long as I can. That had handwritten things in them from my mom and my dad too. But he's still up and going. Puts me to shame some days with how much stuff he gets done. I also got there's a lot of I kind of touched on it, the poverty mindset. Where I have to get it because it may not be there in the future. And when I found out that's what they call that, I'm like, oh my God, that's me. You know, when I was working and stuff, I was buying all this stuff for projects. Okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then I'd set it in there in a box. I'm like, okay, the old saying, you never have time and money. You either have time or you have money. So I might as well buy all this stuff so then when I have time, I can do it. Well, then COVID hit and I had time. And guess what? I didn't do hardly any of it. So I've got all these long dead projects that I'm probably never going to do, and it's time to pass some of that stuff on to someone who's going to do it. A couple of them I'm still going to keep. I've got a whole set of tools for cutting styrofoam and making stuff out of styrofoam because I had a thing I was going to make miniatures for like Dungeons and Dragons and that sort. And I started doing it. I cut bricks and used certain techniques to make them look like they were actually stone bricks and that. And then I started gluing them together to make a castle, and I started to make a church. And then I told myself, well, I can't do that because I have to get that shop cleared out. Then I can start doing it again. Now, I have these things, and these I will keep because I still think someday I might do some of that. But also, I can use them for other crafts too. Like the incubator. I can use it, the hot wire, to cut the foam down to the perfect size. But in a well-ventilated area, of course. But there's other things, like some of the 12-volt stuff. I've got a bunch of 12-volt things because I was going to go to complete solar in the backyard. Those I'll keep because I still plan on doing it. But there's just a lot, like the computer stuff and just a lot of stuff I can get rid of. And this, right now, I'm just working on the house. Once I get the workshop done, the shed, then I can actually go through all the stuff in the attic. And I was going to say 95% of what's in the attic up there is getting either sold, scrapped, or pitched because almost all that stuff I haven't touched in 9 years other than to move it over here. So, time to clean house, Plus, it'll make you feel better. If you walk into a place that is cluttered and messy and nasty and just no space to put anything, it wears on you. You just can't. I always think back to the places where people are like ghost hunters, where they would be called in because, there's a demon, haunting us. And they go there and the place is just like a hoarder. And they said, you need to clean it up, get the stuff out of here because that's, helps with depression and kind of, they said, invites spirits in. And then they get almost no evidence of these spirits. And then they clean the house and things would be great. Everything left. So, it was a lot more mental. Just the way things were in that, mentally, it wore the person down. So, it's hard for me to get rid of stuff because, I'm going to need that next week. Next week I'm going to go, I need that. But not just getting rid of it, complete the projects. Which I think is a good segue into the second topic. And I do believe I'll bring it up because I heard somebody else, Bjorn Bull Hansen something. He's got a long name. I watched a lot of his stuff, and I like a lot of his bushcraft and spiritual talk stuff. And he brought it up. And he was actually talking about a rune, the Isa, like ISA. And it's not a good rune. It's destructive rune, as he put it. It is the rune of not being able to change, of stagnancy, being stuck, ice. Like how water is stuck, it's ice. And it just made me think of it, and his words really touched me, about fearing change. Because I'm that type of person. I don't like things to change. I like to have a nice, neat, orderly thing. Everything needs to fall into place. It needs to be good. Which I know kind of goes against what we were just talking about, where I need to clear stuff out. But, you can't get stagnant where you're not doing things, where you're not moving forward. If you're not moving forward, you're going back. So it's something that I really need to work on. I need to be positive and keep moving forward. You can do it too. You just need to tell yourself you can, and don't let you be your biggest enemy. Don't let you defeat you. Because I think a lot of times that's what we do. we don't have confidence. I have that issue. I've got a lot of skills to do maintenance work, but to me, I almost feel like I don't have the experience to do maintenance work. But I did electrical. I've done some plumbing and that. And electrical, I mean, for 5 or 6 years, something like that, I worked at a company that made lines for GM, Ford, and I was a final assembly electrician there. And I ran wiring. I ran power to boxes, read blueprints, from the ground up. We built these things. So I do have a lot of the skills. It feels to me like, I guess, imposter syndrome, like they say. I don't think that I'm capable of doing it. So that's one of my fears. And I fear the change of going to a new job and meeting new people. And some of that's social anxiety. I do have issues with that, which is hard if you talk to me online because I'm very loud and obnoxious and, boisterous and stuff. But that's because it's online. And when I first meet you in real life, unless I've talked to you before, I'm quiet and reserved and would rather just stay off in the corner. And COVID did not help that, let me stay home and not do things and this and that. But so that ISA, we can't become ice. We have to be fluid and move forward. So maybe that's what you need to hear today, that you can do it. Put your mind to it, and you really can. I mean, we are our biggest enemies. We're the thing that stands in between us and success more than anything else. Because when was the last time you really didn't do anything because someone told you couldn't? Usually if someone tells me I can't, I go, you know what? I'm going to do it just to prove that son of a gun wrong. So you got this. You can do it. Put your mind to it, and you will overcome all obstacles. And I have to tell myself that too. It includes getting land. It may not be that 243 acres. I mean, that would, to me, you look at that and that would solve all my problems. Man, I could do anything. I could raise hogs. I could raise this. I could do that. Anything I wanted to. But, maybe that's not what it's meant to be. Maybe I'm supposed to get just a couple acres because it's easier to manage. And I'm not getting any younger. But we'll see. I can do it and I can overcome it. And so can you. All right. Thanks for joining me again today. I hope maybe you got a little bit of inspiration. Some things maybe you haven't thought of and can think about. And be with me in trying to declutter our lives. All right. Have a great day. And remember, stay alive out there and keep on surviving.